Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sim Racing Alliance. It's season 13. We are starting out tonight strong.
As they do go side by side. It is the formation lap almost done. They will look, all eyes to the lights. That's going to be an amazing start.
And we have a crash in turn 1 already. What's going on?
On to the bus stop, straight goes for it around the outside.
More contact behind, that is huge. A couple of gainers in that one.
She's giving it everything. She has to. I'm not sure that it's over yet, though.
This is the last opportunity. We're off and away for SRA.
There we go.
Ooh. There we go.
Okay, so
There we go.
here we are. Right?
The hills are alive with the hills are alive jokes as we welcome you to round 6 for D4 of season 14 of the GT3 Team Series, heading to Spielberg for 1 hour of racing from the Red Bull Ring. I was hoping YouTube would let you guys see my face and my name. I am still invisible, but I am Jackson Lambros. I am joined alongside, just like in D1 last night, by Steph Fisher calling the shots and the cameras, and Anton Rushevich from D1. Let's start with you, Anton. Really, really great drive from you last night in the Mustang. Hectic out there, and I'm expecting we're going to see a lot of the same for the D4 guys.
Yeah, I mean, Red Bull Ring's kind of known for some intense, high-octane racing, so really looking forward to seeing what D4 can do tonight. I can tell you for sure that D1 was of similar nature in a lot of racing, a lot of side-by-side action, especially with me towards the end, so I'm hoping to see more of that tonight.
Steph, your thoughts on a hectic back-and-forth, throw-indoors kind of night from D1 and what we're expecting here from the Force?
Oh, I love Red Bull Ring, and I actually love D4. There's a lot of guys in here that I've known for, I can almost say years now. So to me, this is a lot of fun. I like joining them down here and seeing faces that, not faces really, names that I know. So I'm really looking forward to tonight. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I have no idea what's going on. I don't think Anton has too much of a clue what's going on. Call us Ricky Bobby the way we don't really know what to do with our hands. Let's get a track map on screen for chat.
I got you.
First opened in 1966, home of the Formula One Austrian Grand Prix since 1970, on and off, has taken numerous names. The Spielberg Ring, the A1 Ring, but now the Red Bull Ring, and you take the chaos, Anton, of Circuit of the Americas, the open seas of concrete runoff, and the opportunities for over-unders, for overtakes, and you've got a kind of, I like to call it the Bristol of road racing. Short, lots of overtaking opportunities, almost always hectic.
Yeah, I mean, you know, given that there are a good amount of straights here, you would think that there's a lot of overtaking, but there really, realistically, are 2 spots where you can comfortably try to make an overtaking. That'll be into turn 3 and turn 4. So we'll see what happens there. For turn 3, it's really key that you get a good turn 1 exit to set up the turn 2, which is a little kink in the road, and the braking zone to turn 3. And then usually you get it done into turn 4. So we're going to hopefully be seeing a lot of clean battling today. Hopefully no crazy dive bombs. Yeah, I mean, you know, I used to be in D4 myself, so I know this place very well. A lot of great guys, like Steph said. And yeah, I just know they're going to put up a really good show for us today.
You can thank the MotoGP guys for us running basically from turn 1 to 3. That little kink to the left, more of a full chicane in the MotoGP configuration about to go into qualifying. Watch for guys running through turns 9 and 10, absolutely pushing the track limits and going for big delta going down the hill. Maybe sometimes running a little bit too wide. Let's take a look at your driver standings here going into this round. Great lead so far for Michael McWeezerson. Sean Daniels 43 points back. Mason Moffitt in third, excuse me for that, but still considering one dropout round for these gentlemen.
And then we also have our silver division would be led by Matt Matassi, followed very closely by Jaroslav Koval, and not so far behind either is Justin Sickcombe. I know I say his name wrong. I'm really sorry, Justin. No, Justin. I last week said Jared, and it was apparently Justin, or I said. Anyway, so Justin is the name on here. And we'll take a quick look at the team standings. Team standings are being led by Black Sheep Motorsport with Matt Anderson and Mert Mertson, followed closely by Cheaper Than Therapy with the...
Great
Sorry,
name.
I mean, these are guys that are my favorite broadcasters, Cube and Sean. As a combo, they're fantastic. And you should catch them if you can, if they're still broadcasting together. And
a lot of...
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. A lot of gold-silver splits in here is what's sticking out from me. Michael McWeezerson and Hassan Agdim in third with SMH My Head. Los Veros Locos Racing, Rodrigo Moreno, and Chris Sweeney. And then, you go back to Better Call Steve with the pair of Steves, Music and Foster, in the Ferrari 296. So good diversity here as we get set for round number 6. Again, a lot of this still TBD for one drop round, although I'm not sure how that quite works for team standings. I could be so wrong about how that gets dropped in.
Think that it's the same. It's both drivers' total points minus the drop race, and they add them together.
Plus the drive. Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's that. So yeah. So yeah, we have. They're still sitting there waiting to go out for qualifying. We have a couple minutes, so I guess since there's really nothing else to go on about, we can get our beloved bills paid, and we're going to subject you guys to our sponsor ads.
A huge thank you to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favourite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And a big thank you to our affiliates, Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. Armamentario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. AT3D Sim Shop. Upgrade your sim racing experience today with premium 3D printed accessories featuring precision crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile stream deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative designs enhance performance and style, elevate every lap with top-tier quality and craftsmanship at at3d.net. Go Setups, premium esports setups for everybody. Use our affiliate link on our Discord and take your drive to the next level. Castle and Cauldron, a home-based crafting business specializing in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts and Fairy World collectibles. Magic wands, potions, mini dioramas, wall decor, costumery, cosplay, and much more. Castle and Cauldron is where crafting meets the magical. Visit facebook.com/Castle Cauldron. And from KP Concepts, your source for custom automotive renderings, graphic design, and printing. We spend countless hours making you look all good for the spectacle. Check out kpconcepts.com for more.
And welcome back. Guys are going out now to qualify as our silver division lines up and starts to roll out on that track in 30 seconds.
So a brief staging period beforehand to get the silver guys set to head out first. Again, 10-minute split on both ends. So silver guys go out for first half, and then we'll have the golds qualify on the bottom. Trey Morgan now getting us started. Anton, you experienced it firsthand last night. How important is... Well, let's actually turn this question this way. I always talk about how important it is to find clean air in qualifying, especially if it's, you know, a guy that you know is slower in front of you. But again, you have a Monza-like property to this track with the straightaways. Do you feel like you actually get maybe more of an advantage with someone giving you a toe in front of you?
The only advantage you'll ever get is if the car that's in front of you is the same one that you're in, because the aero wash, for example, with me being in the Mustang, and let's take Jeff Spangler in the McLaren, because the cars are shaped so differently. If Jeff is in front of me in a McLaren, the aero wash in Sector 2 specifically is absolutely atrocious. So
Really?
you want to make that gap as small but as large as possible, so you don't obviously impede anybody who's, you know, going to also queue up behind you. But here, it's always important to have clean air, especially in Sector 2. It's a very technical circuit, so getting that quality lap is going to be of utmost importance.
Darren Robichon for Try gets us started here at the bottom of the hill. Patina-colored BMW M4. As I think we figured this out last night, outer track limits for the most part are... You just got to keep all four wheels off of the blue stuff, and you're good to go, I believe.
As long as the middle of your car doesn't go past the sausage, I think it's okay. But they
Gotcha.
are pretty unforgiving.
I think his livery is supposed to look muddy.
It is a very muddied Martini kind of Williams F1. I can't even put it down to that because there's so many cars in history that have driven under those colors, but very, very muddy, I think. Either muddy or rusty Martini Racing colors.
I believe
Try
it
guys
to be
can
mud.
help us in chat. It
Yeah.
looks like
Yes.
mud. I think
Yeah.
it's mud.
It has more of a mud effect when it like was in a little bit closer. Darren in
Yeah,
a
I think
BM.
when they were describing their livery in the reveal trailer, it's supposed to be some kind of M4 GT3 that they found in a rusty garage or something. It's a bit like it got revived, you know.
Okay, I'm told it's rusty.
I'm loving the barn find aesthetic. It's still hilarious to say there's a barn find for a GT3 car that dropped in, what, 2020, 2021? But
2022, I think. Yeah.
we'll take it. Fastest, or puts the first time on the board, 1:30.252. Morgan instantly will advance above, but is holding his own over Master and Benkowitz as the fellow colored car, Matisse comes across the line. He pushed the limits just a little bit too hard, so his first lap is invalid.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get a lap in here, especially seeing that a few of these cars here are following each other pretty closely, so you don't want to get that aero wash like I mentioned earlier.
So it's almost that balancing act then, Anton, of you want to be close enough where you obviously can maybe get a smidge of a toe, and obviously respect the other people around you. So not too far as to, you know, get that aero wash and try and harming your delta or anyone else's.
I don't think it's worth it to get that toe because a lot of this track is very technical apart from the two straights that you have.
Right.
So really the trade-off isn't that large. So it's just better to leave a small gap that you're not really impeding yourself by. Like we said earlier in the driver's briefings, 3 to 5 seconds is always plenty sufficient a gap. to have in quality.
A little bit of a position swap here going into 10. What's up, Steph?
Oh, I was gonna say Darren takes over the preliminary poll with a
That did not look
129.5.
ideal.
Yeah, that looked a little.
Suboptimal for Steven Music,
Yeah.
who was on a flyer. There were a couple of position swaps ahead of him flying down the hill. And we'll throw that flyer away as we get to the halfway point here in silver qualifying. Matisse on provisional pole. The minute I say that, instantly gets jumped by Curtis, one of the few Ford Mustangs in the field. It's weird seeing a GT3 field in SRA right now that isn't like 25% Ford Mustangs. And it's also taken me like 5 weeks to find an Audi in SRA. But John Ansem finally answers here with the Red Eye Racing 512.
I do find in the lower divisions, guys are a little bit more adventurous in their car choices now. They say these middle divisions, I should say, a little more adventuresome in the car choices.
It's definitely nice to see.
Yeah, we've got 2 Bentleys waiting for us in gold there, Greer and Thompson.
Yep. I know Thomas loves his Bentley.
I think we also have a Honda in Division 4, is that correct?
We had one Honda start last week at Hungaroring. But that's been the only time I've...
This is Zamora, right? I think it's Tristan Zamora.
Yeah, maybe is not here this week. We do only have 35 drivers on track in the server today.
Robichon responds now. It wasn't all BMW front row with him in second B, but now Johnston for Purple Cobras, a very familiar livery we've seen in D1. I want to say that's Cobra Kai inspired, obviously ESPN, the Ocho on the side there.
Yep, we have our first driver into the 28s here, so it's going to be interesting to see how many gold drivers can get into that 28 category.
We have seen the stapled kind of 2 or 3 guys from silver that are just that little bit extra above the rest, and going to be interesting to see how the split in class and skill will be here between our silver and gold drivers. Jump up for Hessner was running outside of the top 10, improves to 4th in class ahead of second B. Heavy BMW front end of the silver field. 3rd, 5th, 6th, and 7th. And then a stampede of Ferraris further back.
Another thing to note here in the silver field, P10 and P11, we have the Morgan brothers. We have a little mini rivalry going on. As Trey Morgan improves to P9 here, so Mac is going to have to either bite back here. We're going to see how this pans out in the last 2 minutes.
It's Trey on top for now.
I do believe they are teammates.
I'm trying to remember which one is... They are teammates. I'm trying to remember which one is older. I believe it's Trey. I believe Trey. Yes. Mac goes a little bit wide there. I believe that will be a lap invalidated. Johnston still on pole. 1.7 seconds over Curtis. Robichon currently working big wiggle there going out of turn number 4. And I'm not sure if that just threw away the delta there, Steph.
Only by about a 10th. He was just over 3/10 up on his, which would put him really close to Johnston. He did lose a 10th, only a 10th with that wiggle. So we'll see if he can make that time back up before he hits that checkered flag.
Steven Music gets that pace he's been looking for. Good enough for 3rd right now. What's Robichon got on the tank? Looked a little bit wide going down the hill, but I believe still valid as he heads to the bottom of the hill. How far up on the board will this propel him? Good enough for 3rd. So swaps ends with Music, but not good enough for Robichon. That'll put Johnston on pole with Curtis sharing that front row for silver, as it is now time for the golds to come out.
Well, I'm surprised that Darren opted to go back to pits. They still have another minute out there. He could have gotten another lap in, but might be the tires are saying no.
Could also be running out of fuel. Here you don't want to run too much fuel because the tires do get a little bit warm on the rears, especially the rear right. This track is known to be very, very heavy on the tires. So having too much fuel for quali could seriously hurt you more than it can help you.
Over to Rod Moreno right now, currently third in team standings. Fourth in team standings, excuse me, with Los Vados Locos. Teammate Chris Sweeney watching on as it is his turn to go out momentarily. What will be his last lap. I believe we also have Raf Cabrera in the golds. I'm not sure if he's here tonight, but that's a familiar name from North American Sim Racing Series.
He is in here as Raf Cab. He shortened it for us.
You know, some people are considerate and do that. Other people are Jorge Blasini Rivera and Arjun Lakshmi Narasimhan.
No, you haven't tried to pronounce Diego's name yet. Still the worst.
Oh, give me a sec. Hang on.
Oh, that's invalidated.
Second B was on a good lap. That was invalidated. Mac gonna try to one-up his brother one final time here.
Oh, a little bit wide.
In the horn. Oh my goodness, just overcooked it. We'll head
Wait.
straight in. Doing some lawn work in the progress there.
Never hurts to practice your pit entry either, so.
Never.
Nope.
Here we see the gold drivers, Mason Moffitt leading the pack in the 87 McLaren. Can we see him repeat his leaderboard time, which was, mind you, very, very impressive. It's already in the D1 reference lap time, so.
Wow.
Having a D4 driver doing these kinds of times is very, very impressive, so we'll see what happens.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna
throw an official out.
They did for me 2 seasons ago, and
I know.
Oh, he's tagging.
That's what I'm wondering.
I'm not mad about that. I'm just saying that there's no way. I mean, it's gonna be close. It's hard for me to be convinced that sim racing really is cheaper than therapy. That's my lead concern there. Mason Moffitt into turn number 4 here in the Twitch colored McLaren. I guess it depends on what hardware you're running.
Yeah, and what insurance company you have to.
Maybe if you're not too. Maybe if you're running a G920 and
there's that Honda we were talking about.
There it is, yeah.
Yep.
I love the spread of cars. Unlike D1, we have 17 Mustangs there. I'm one of them, unfortunately.
What leads to the kind of decisions that make it such a Mustang-heavy D1 as we watch Tristan Zamora in the ruby-colored Rooster Teeth 919? Love that car. But why Mustang? Why so many Mustang?
It's just such a well-balanced car in so many regards. It's similar to the McLaren, but just better. It's really fast in a straight line, which in a race setting is what you want. Because, you know, in GT3 cars, it's hard to overtake in the corners unless you're just sending it. In the Mustang, you can defend and also be fast out of corners. It does reward you the more, I suppose, skill that you have. That's why we see Mason Moffitt already into the mid-28s.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's going to be... I'm either expecting a blowout or maybe Mick Wieserson can pull something out of...
Good mix there.
You know, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, the Mustang is just... I mean, it's a beast of a car. It's really, really quick in a straight line. It's very good on the brakes. It's just got everything that you want in a racing car.
I love the way Greg Kachadurian puts it, where if you don't feel like the car is killing you 100% of the time, you're not really getting everything out of it. I don't know if that feeling is mutual for you or any of the other Mustang guys, but what really stands out to me now is, you know, this is a very straightaway heavy calendar. We're looking at, big exception, I think, being Hungaroring, but you look at, you know, Indy here, there was no looking the way you're describing it. It doesn't look like you, OBDA, or any of the other teams were looking at it and kind of playing to that advantage, and more of just this car rocks. Period.
The car does rock. It's the Mustang. You know, it's awesome. That being said, I'm not driving it next season.
Any willingness to share what we're switching to?
We'll see.
Okay,
It's
okay.
I like to drive new cars every season. I guess this one being the exception. I drove the McLaren last season.
Right.
I did start in the Lexus. Obviously, that kind of failed. But I don't know. I'm feeling more mid-engine next season. I want to feel fast in corners. So we'll see what happens.
He wants to drive a Porsche.
No.
That is on the cards. I want to drive the 991.
Please,
not the 992.
Please save
It might
yourself the
hurt.
sanity, Thomas.
Yeah, I think that
Tom
was.
Greer.
It is a blast of a car. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
But it was tried in D1 a couple seasons ago, and it did not. I think they got out of the car after race 1.
Was it Diego?
No, it wasn't. It was, believe it or not.
I'm trying to figure out what the livery is here for the
Oh,
664.
This would be a Spice Girls livery, Jackson.
yes.
No shot.
Yeah.
Yep. It is. I will see.
This is. There we go. Oh my gosh. Amazing.
There we have Posh Spice, you know?
Yep. Yeah, I'm finding the camera
I think this
angles.
will. I think this will age me. Yeah. I think this will age me in a negative light.
No.
And that my Spice Girl knowledge is as far as Lewis Hamilton dated one of them.
It's fine.
What about David Beckham? You know that
Oh,
one?
David
I
Beckham.
do.
Yes. No. Excuse me.
That would be the more notable relationship, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think they were together for quite a long time too.
Is Ice Spice an honorable member of the Spice Girls?
Not in my book.
Okay,
for
fair
sure.
enough. Spencer Taft for baseline Moss Espa, bottom of the hill. Big improvement there, 23rd to 16th, 129.3. As the hunt for the 28s continue for a good chunk of this field with 3.5 minutes on the clock.
Moffitt looks like he's gonna hold that pole position at this point in time.
Really?
Yes. So McWeezerson would have to take 4/10 off of his in order to get by him, and he currently is 400ths, so not quite enough.
Nope, not at all.
To everyone running under a false name, I totally get it. You want to protect your privacy, and separate your real life from your sim racing life. Just know that there is a broadcaster who has to, as a result, call you sloppy ooh on air. So you are signing yourself up for that, as Michael McWeezerson now trying to get across the line.
Ooh.
Actually gets it a little bit of a chunk there. Still not going to be enough to catch Moffitt.
Now, briefly overtaken by Sean Daniels in the Mustang before he yanked that number 2 position back.
So Mason Moffitt still on pole for the time being. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to get that. Maybe Sean, who's been pushing that Mustang hard, but
One thing to note at this track, if we want to take a look at the leaderboard here, from P9 to effectively P15 or P16, it's all separated by a tenth of a second. So these margins are so small.
right.
It happened at Indy as well. I think I matched like 2 other cars' times. And if I improved by maybe half a tenth, it would have shot me up maybe 8 places. But seeing this here, it's so nice because it's all, whenever you do improve, you improve maybe not 1 or 2 spots, you can improve 5 spots.
Big time improvements, right?
Exactly. It's super rewarding here at Red Bull Ring.
So it looks like Weezerson.
How's that Delta looking, Steph?
Well, I'm looking at I'm seeing this is McWeezerson and Sean Daniels, and they're like practicing the race
Apex
now.
is stolen! Daniels was on the apex there for the penultimate corner, so that's going to take a big chunk out of it, but I don't know if it really mattered as Michael comes to the line. No improvement.
28.27 from Mason Moffitt.
Oh
Round
my
of applause,
goodness.
everybody. That is rapid for D4. He's going to get a division bump next season, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure.
The real life record here in GT3s, Christian Engelhardt did a 128.445 in a non-Evo Huracan GT3 here. And that mops it. Ooh, one of the Porsches around further back. Believe that's Galdino further back.
I think that was 906. Is that Koval?
906 is Raf Cab. So I don't know.
And he is an Alexis.
That's not the Porsche.
And he's also in the pit.
Oh, big tank slapper there from McWeezerson.
Holds on to it. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Code Brown moment right there, ladies and gentlemen. That was
I thought it was I thought those moments were only for the Mustang drivers.
I mean, you could get in every other car. You just got to try harder.
Fair enough.
You got to try harder to do that.
So potentially some big time lost here as McWeezerson one more shot at it down the hill.
Onto the marbles, yep. And
yeah, I think he knew he didn't have it there ever since the tank slapper. Here's who went around Brett Swift in the Sub-Zero. He's got it back going again. I'm not sure if this is the same lap.
No, I don't even know if it's the same car. I don't think so.
It's for sure one of the Sub-Zero cars.
Yeah. But
there was a silver one that spun earlier.
Yeah, I don't think it was him, though, because he's still in a good lap, and he was making up time. So.
But it was either that or Dibeam Glow. You know,
Swift backed out of it. Huh? And,
yep.
Buckley here, throwing in the towel on this lap. And that'll do it. Mason Moffitt on pole, nearly half a second over Michael McWeezerson, Sean Daniels, and Kyle Barber in the second row, and then Wasitsky and Johnston. Again, looking at that big gap for Johnston, he'll have a big smile rolling off as he's got, 4 cars separating him and the next best in the silvers. But that was fun. Should give us a good taste of what's coming. Should. We will see how that works out. I had to show you our lovely faces while I fiddle with cameras and whatnot here a minute, and then we'll swap back and we can take a look at these pretty cars. Ugh.
I'd like to point out that Mason Moffitt's quality time of a .270 would have put him in P29 in Division 1.
Are you kidding me?
That's what the numbers say.
Wow. My eyes see one of the Race Forge Mustangs in here as well that we just went by. One of the Brickyard Ferraris on your left.
The rusty BMW.
Rusty BMW, very interesting, tire marked M4, and love the Sonic Audi there using the rings.
A lot of beautiful cars we have here. A lot of not Mustangs as well, which is
a lot of non Mustangs. That's new for us.
A sight for sore eyes. As we
yes.
say.
Interesting colors on that kind of highlighter BMW with the tire marks on it. And then the unloaded McLaren livery. Not Steph's fault. Someone forgot to submit their files.
Yeah, I had the same problem last week, so...
Yeah.
You know. Oh, we don't want to look behind the fence.
Nope.
I can't swap between the controller and the keyboard, so my flyovers are a little bit jostly, but hey, we got one in. Look at these beautiful cars.
For anyone watching for the first time tonight, we do a theme for the liveries every single season. It was entertainment this time by, hence the video game, TV, movie themed liveries. Race Forge instantly stands out to me. You got the Ricky Bobby Wonder Bread themed liveries, and then of course Moffat, a little bit more on the nose, just straight Twitch livery from Streamline.
Quite ironic considering that we're streaming this on
that
YouTube.
we're on YouTube, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
First YouTube stream I've done, so good stuff. Trying to see what Michael's was. I'm not entirely sure.
It's blue and it's bright.
Let's see. I'm going to see what I can do with this quick. Bear with me.
Barber going for more of a... Oh,
So there we go.
that just seems like the default livery for Vanquish.
Looks pretty clean to me. I like it. We got
It's
2
clean.
SRA logos as well.
I don't know if you
Represent.
did. I don't know if you did the assignment, but it's clean.
Well, they're not required to follow the assignment.
It'll be a lot cooler if they did.
But I know some people maybe aren't into it. So.
That's fair.
It happens. All right, we'll switch back to our regular camera.
We're all just happy to be here at the end of the day.
We are.
Exactly. All right, 1 hour of green flag racing ahead of us. One mandatory pit stop, I believe. The rules apply throughout the division, so can take tires, but you're on the same tank of gas for the entire hour. Anton, what did we like for strategy last time, or for you guys, and are you expecting a lot of the same here?
We'll see what happens. I mean, a lot of my decisions come throughout the race. They don't necessarily transpire before. Kind of just we take it as it comes, as we say.
Right.
So I'm expecting a lot of pitters around minute 30, maybe even minute 35 to 40. If anyone's feeling extra spicy, they can undercut really early on, but the tires will suffer at the end of the Grand Prix. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in strategy. There's a lot of different things that can happen.
Matt Mattisey, not where he wanted to end up in qualifying. He'll see what he can do from 26 as we are starting to rack them up 2 by 2. Major shuffle here as everyone tries to find their places. No worries, as the cars will not be unghosted until the drop of the green flag. All right, Moffitt on the outside in the McLaren, excuse me, and McWeezerson on the inside in the Ferrari. Who will be on top and who will handle the strategy and mayhem here in Austria? Let's find out. Let's go racing. Good start here from Moffitt, already a car length clear of McWeezerson heading into turn 1. A little bit of momentum from Barber here. He'll have the inside on Daniels as McWeezerson runs very, very shallow, still holds the inside. Daniels still holding on to third, but a little bit of a run further back. Davim Glaudino in the Porsche trying to get to work here on Justin Curtis and Foster. Not a lot of real estate, but good momentum from Robichon as Barber tries to look up the inside here. Still can't get it done for that bottom spot on the podium, as we are all relatively clean on the front end of the field through turns 1, 2, and 3.
You love to see it. No yellow flags anywhere so far. A lot of side-by-side racing. Very clean start, turn 1. This is awesome.
Anton, I think they're doing better than D1 so far.
I don't want to say it.
As long as I didn't get into an incident, it's fine.
Fair enough. At all ends of the field here, as Stephen Buckley under fire here from one of the Aston Martins. I think that's Anderson.
No!
Oh my goodness! Total roadblock.
Where did that come
Oh my
from?
goodness! 2 by 2 at the front of the field. It was one of the Twitch cars. Oh my goodness! Was that our pole sitter?
I believe Mason is way clear already. He looks like he's 8 seconds ahead.
We've lost one of the Ferraris at the front of the field. One of the Vanquish Ferraris has dropped back. And oh my goodness, further back, one of the Rust Buckets, one of the Martinis totally went around here, going down the hill, as now everyone has to evade as he's broadside in the final sector. John Amundsen trying to gain positions in the chaos. That's Justin Secondby that went around. As we take a breath here and try and figure out what the heck happened.
So
Red Bull
race
ring
control's not showing me yellow flags today. My apologies.
So it was one of the Ocho cars, I believe that. Oh no, it wasn't. It was one of the Fanta cars as Secondby.
Yep, he got.
Oh
it's
no!
under
Oh!
Oh,
Somehow,
that was so lucky.
some way, doesn't collect anyone. But that is why we hold our brakes, kids. Oh my goodness.
If we take a look at the pit lane, we see number 13 of Michael McWeezerson already in the pit lane.
Okay, so it was
So
Weezerson.
was involved earlier on. I think that was maybe one of those two cars in that absolute nightmarish, perfect two-car roadblock.
Yep, and
As 5 cars
we're gonna
involved in that.
do our best to catch everything, but there are no yellow flags showing up for that entire lap 1 in our race control here. So
Steve Foster trying to get away around. Meanwhile, Mike Heisner on the inside of a name I'm not saying out of self-respect, side by side out of turn number 10. And Uwe will hold the lead here.
I was gonna say, I can say it for you if you need a buzzer.
Yeah, go. No, all you.
yeah,
Sloppy Uwu makes the pass into turn 9. There you go.
Further up to the front here, Spencer tapped a big gain from that opening lap incident. For baseline, tucked in behind Daniels. That Mustang punching a big hole in the air for the Macca, but as we've talked about, that's big time dirty air on the way. Back over to the mid-pack, a little bit of a look to the inside for Mobishan on Teeny. Everyone holds their line for the time being. Moffitt already out like a cannon, very regular. The behavior we expected, 6 seconds already up from Barber and Daniels. So smooth running for our race leader for the time being, but he will have lap traffic sooner than expected with that big kahuna on lap 1. Over to one of the Morgans, one half of the twins that share the airwaves with us here on YouTube.
McWeezerson is still in the pits, and he must be repairing all that damage that he picked up on lap 1, and it's gonna hurt him a lot just being in the pits for that long.
Sarver behind had good momentum. He'll back out as that's a rough place. It doesn't matter though, because Trey goes wide at the bottom of the hill. Brother Mac absolutely throws the bumper to Matt Mattisey, who sails off, does a safe rejoin, but does a little bit of lawn work in the progress. So some big drama from the brothers Morgan here in the opening few laps. Mattisey thrown to the wolves, will have to coexist with Swift. Lifts but gets bumped, keeps it around. Shades of the bump we saw with Arjun Lakshminarasimhan yesterday, and somehow, some way, keeps that BMW in one piece. Now Greer and Penkowitz will try and sail through 2x2 heading into turn number 4. Don't end in heartbreak, boys. One of the Spice Girl Bentleys tries to thread the needle. One of the McLarens goes around.
it's the Bentley. They're not that small. He didn't fit.
I don't think that was going to work regardless of the corner. And now
Ooh,
Alex
look at
Adesanya
this.
for Race Sports. We're 3 wide again here. Oh, take a deep breath. Raf Cab on the outside here, and the Lexus almost gets to the bumper there of Matt Merson. But somehow we survive 3 wide racing here as the Morgan brothers continue to close the gap to each other. This 5-6 car freight train being led by Trey. Oh my goodness.
More side-by-side action as we go into turn 9 and heading up to the final corner of this Red Bull Ring circuit, turn 10. We reset the next lap going into turn 1, and we're going to see if Rodrigo Moreno wants to try to close the gap to Mac Morgan going into the turn 3 braking zone.
He tried the long way around going into turn number 1 or into turn number 10. Thought way smarter of it, as very rarely do we see that being a place where you can make a move. Back over to 5th, Peter Wazinski with a mirror full of Sean Buckley, or excuse me, this is Taft. Under fire, look to the inside, now outside, as a yellow is on the course.
Oh,
Purple flag for Moffitt, but he's already found lap traffic.
Jackson, who are we looking at here?
That's not important, Anton.
Is Mick Wieserson blue flag here?
Ooh, Buckley almost turned Steve
Probably.
Music here.
Yes. Side by side again into, I believe this is turn 6.
It is, and one of the Lexi will back out. Buckley tried backing out, but the Ferrari of Miller said, no, I insist. We've got Artesino right behind us. Make a commitment. Choose a line, brother. And Artesino trying to get a move on. Now goes Argy Bargy to the inside of Miller. Side by side. One of them will have to give here, heading down the hill. And it will be the Ferrari. Maybe not. He'll hang around the outside. Now we'll certainly have to see someone get given. It is Artesino.
Very respectful racing here in D4. We'd love to see it, especially into that narrow of a track section. I mean, it's very impressive what we have here.
Ooh, a little bit of a wiggle there from Miller. Meltrazio with a good run. We know that Mustang has the legs. Is he going to have a place to put it as it's Ford versus Ferrari into turn number 3? Side by side once again as Miller and Buckley go at it further ahead. And Ultrazio going the long way around to get P26.
And that's why we have 17 Mustangs in D1, Jackson. There you go.
Right there.
Awesome, thanks.
Now you know, if there was ever a doubt.
Well, we got a lot of Ferraris and a lot of Macas as well. It's the Aston Martins, the Lexi, the Porsches of the world that we struggle to see in D1. So cool to see that variety in the bigger divs. So Matt Mattisey with a little bit of a bobble there out of turn 7. And Thompson in the Bentley with a radar lock. Good run here. Heading into turn number 10. Looks to the inside. Mattisey doesn't buy it.
So, Anton, you were asking if Mick Wieserson was a blue flag, and I believe if you see him, he probably will be at this point. He is in P37 and just not doing well at this point, unfortunately.
Very unfortunate, but
and
we
not
have a
nice,
small
sir.
bump.
That was penetration.
Brown
Where's
for
Cube
Matt
Master? Let's check in on
Mattisey.
Cube Master.
Let's
As we check in with Cube Master.
P18.
Oh my goodness.
18.
There we go,
already.
baby.
Oh!
Oh my goodness. And as we say that, Cube Master gets a bumper full of Mac Morgan, somehow doesn't lose it as well.
Nope. Cube Master is penetrated.
I can only imagine what he's saying on the hot mic right now
Yep.
with Sean and BC.
Yep. Well, I had to say that just for him.
There is some
There's a lot of lore
deep
there. Yeah.
SRA lore that I do not understand right now, and I'm just going to respect
You're gonna have to go
the
back
legacy that I need
find
to
some of
understand.
that commentary, or just watch any stream that Cube Master's doing, and you will understand what we are going on about.
Doesn't that mean that we have penetration in every race?
Yes.
When you really think about it, sim racing or motorsports as a craft is a game of constant penetration.
Now that's something I'm going to remember for the rest of the night.
But in the books, Steve Foster goes
Looks
wide.
like Steve Foster may have run into some trouble. Like I had mentioned, I'm not seeing yellow flags on my race control ever.
That's because we have no yellow flags. We're all super clean here.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing ever happens.
Nope. Perfect.
Good
Something
run. Oh
happened.
Well-
my goodness.
Something very much
Oof.
happened.
That might be some corner suspension damage, but absolutely monster trucks over as Wasinski, the two Aston Martins go at it. Wasinski and Anderson. Watch Zamora, who somehow has gotten that Honda NSX into 7th. Big wiggle there going into turn number 6. Are you kidding me?
This is intense stuff, guys. This is we're having an awesome race so far, and it's only 12 minutes in.
So Peter Wazinski somehow holding on to 6 as Zamora and Music going fangs out here just 10 minutes in to round number 6. Back to this battle with Raf Cab and Mederson. That's one of the Ferraris, I believe. It's not Morgan, it's one of the lap traffic cars further behind.
That is Mick Wieserson in the Vanquish Ferrari.
Yep. Well, it might be. Although, yeah, it would be Mick Wieserson. So he might be trying to unlap himself. Oh, no, not really unlap. Make through. Yeah. Sorry. Trying to figure out like where cars are.
Another big lift from Mertzen there as, oh my goodness. It looks like McWeezerson did just sail off into T1.
Oh, and he RTGs and I think he's done. Oh, we have a move into turn 3 on the inside this time. Side by side, going down into turn 4. Now, this is what I was mentioning earlier. The Mustang just has legs, and they want to keep going and going. And it's got the things to stop the car. The brakes are amazing.
One of the few cars to utilize push rod suspension in modern GT3, the other being the Lexus RCF. But there's nearly half a decade of technology and driver aid between those two cars. And just so much more horsepower crammed into that Coyote V8. And Jacob Curtis maximizing all of that right now to try and hold off Anderson and Wazinski and the two AMR V8s. Anderson with a look to the outside will try the long way around into turn 9. That's opened the door to one of the lap traffic Lexi to sail through. Can't get it done. Back over to Tristan Zamora.
It's a super close fight here in the top 10. It is so entertaining so far.
Here comes Steven Music with a little bit of a look to the inside. Turn 1, one of the most unlikely places on the inside. But if you're one of the Ferraris of Stephen Foster, you can absolutely make the long way around work. I'm sorry, I believe that's Tanay getting that done in 9th, going the long way around to overtake Steven Music.
Very impressive move into turn 1. And he got the outside line, so he could just get the power down and sail away into turn 3.
Robichon doing the long way around as well in the Rust Bucket Martini. Clears it for 11th. Over to Rod Moreno and the Cube. We'll lose that position. Oh my goodness!
Reverse penetration from Cube Master.
Heavy penetration from Cube Master, and with no regard to human life, sends Sweeney right into the inside wall. Oh my goodness!
The Mustang is also a tank, so it just absolutely hip checked that car.
It was like hip checking a toddler.
Major incident. Trey Morgan now has a beach day through turn number 8. That will allow Raf Cabrera, who almost loses it, to sail through. And Riley Greer in chat arguing that could be the first instance of reverse penetration we have seen tonight here at Red Bull Ring. As we are all smoking that pack that made our Cube mastered.
Indeed.
Ooh. Big wiggle there from Caleb today.
He's been holding a steady gap to Kyle Barber in P2 in the Aston. And now you got to think if you're Mason, you had this very, very strong lead after lap 1, especially with all the stuff that happened behind, as we see a car having to check up behind Teddy here. Mason has got to be in his own head at this point of the race. It's still a long way to go. One thing you have to manage here are the track limits. They, especially on race fuel, can be pretty daunting. So just got to run a clean race at this point if you're Mason, and don't get too much in your head.
Speaking of Mason, his fastest lap thus far has been a 129.260.
Is that good?
That's pretty good for, at this point, it should be roughly maybe 85 liters of fuel, I'm guessing. So a 29, low 29 in D4, that's pretty impressive.
Not qualifying pace, but you've got to consider, full tank of fuel as Spencer Taft trying the outside of Caleb Tenney. We are seeing a lot more courage through turns 9 and 10 than the D1 guys. No disrespect to your people, Anton, but seeing a lot more side-by-side racing through that final sector. And you could call it courage, maybe the willingness to not make expensive moves, as further back Steve Foster in the middle of it right now. Robichaud in front and Mike Eisner behind.
Is it courage or optimism?
We'll call it
Could be a mix
optimism.
of both, right?
That is the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Steph.
You're welcome.
Altarizio on the inside of turn 1, and it looks like Anthony Kingelosi loses 2 positions here, one to Tyler Thompson and the other to Altarizio, so hopefully he will be able to bounce back.
I am exhausted. How are we only 20 minutes into this thing, man? There has been so much happening, and we're about to see more as it looks
More
like Team
penetration.
Foster-
Penetration!
Steve Saver!
Oh my
Big
goodness.
penetration! Getting into Raf Cabrera.
Steven!
Is that more of that optimism that we were talking about just a minute ago?
It might be.
Absolutely. Good run here from Foster. Looks to the outside now. Swaps it back to the inside going into turn number 8. All the way at the line. That is almost looking like a driver that's going to go into pit lane, and it is. Interesting strat there from the Ferrari driver, Mike Eisner. Catches absolutely Taft with the pants down and will sail through into the top 10. So good stuff from the Porsche pilot.
Porsche's a little bit squirrely in turn 10, so it's amazing that he got it under control there. And at this point of the race is when we're going to start seeing some strategy calls being made. We just saw the Ferrari of Steve Foster dive into the pit lane, so we're going to see a few cars probably follow suit, considering that the undercut is pretty strong here with having fresh tires and just less fuel, so the tires will deteriorate a little bit slower. So it's going to be interesting to see the next few minutes what happens.
Oh,
Interesting
no.
is Mac Morgan around. I think he just totally gassed it in front of one of the Race Forge cars. But we're going to see what happened. I believe that is Rod getting into the back of him. Rod Guerrero. Yep.
Oh,
That
no.
was the love tap he didn't want.
I hope nothing
Looks
else
like-
happened after that.
I don't
I really
think
hope
so.
nothing else happened.
I see the Race Forge machine still in front as Taft goes wide now, giving Darren Robichaud a chance to sail through turn number 8. Still has the inside, but Robichaud has the momentum on the outside. Now kind of forces him to the middle of the track. This will be a tough one for the BMW as they go on the anchors through turn number 9. Taft still not given any of it, but some nuclear moves there from Darren Robichaud. Gets that 11th spot. Now the Uno reverse card from Taft as he looks to the inside to turn number 1.
Very, very close stuff here, as we see Taft has to check up very slightly. But having the inside for turn 1 is not ideal. You get very, very little grip on the inside there, and it's just hard to keep up with the car on the outside.
Mert Mertson versus Raf Cabrera. The Lexus will sail through on the outside. Trey Morgan trying to do the same. Cab all the way to the bumper of Steve Sarver, who Steph was going angry mom mode on earlier. As now Trey looks to the inside of Mert. Very fitting James Bond intro on the rear wing of that Aston Martin.
It seems there's a lot of 2x2x2 battles going on, as we see Sarver going side by side again with Rafael Cabrera. Cabrera gets the inside for turn 7, and they're going to turn 8, the very long sweeping right-hand corner right here. And
Cab holds onto the position. Beach day for Mertson further back, who will
Trey Morgan
rejoin
gets
and
past the
hold
Aston
on.
right
Yep,
there.
yep. So Morgan gets past the Aston. He will get this position as well, as Sarver will take that baseline racing machine into the pit row. A lot of guys calling it early for the undercut here, which I think makes sense now with about 10 minutes to half, but that's going to be a long stint to the end there.
We'll take a look at our
Curious to
race
see.
leader just so he can get some screen time.
Yeah, he's just cruising. He's cruising at this point.
Yeah.
Let's not
How hard is
commentator
it
curse him, though.
to almost,
Oh,
I know,
no,
but
that make it interesting.
it's difficult to hold your focus when you're at this point. You don't have any drivers in front or behind that you can really go off of. It can be very lonely at the front of the field. Back to Cube Cam here as he sails by Rodrigo Moreno.
That Mustang front hood has definitely seen better days.
Yes.
Oh my
Cube
goodness,
master.
Pretty
proud moment
close.
for
I
the
think that's a blue
Cube.
flag as well.
It is.
Man.
One of the Fanta BMWs caught out early on, and a lap car jump scare there for Cube Master in the default livery Proton competition. I think that's one of the default liveries. Brett Swift around the outside of Ultrazio as Ricky Bobby will come to pit row as well.
Strategy is in play, folks. It is in play.
But is it
How
strategy
about-
if everybody does it?
Not
Technically,
everyone's
yes.
done it.
Okay.
We got a good split here right now.
Yeah, we do. I was just curious if
You can make
everybody
them-
does it.
You can make up some time on the pit entry, right? It's very
right.
it's very technical itself, right? So you gotta get the braking right. You gotta get the car in the box at the right, angle. Gotta
Right.
get the drop right. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. It's not an easy pit entry.
Don't want to jinx it too early, but have yourself a Wednesday night. Tristan Zamora, one of the biggest movers we've had on the night so far, pounced early on the late race, or on the early race mistakes of many, and has cleared Tenny and Music, currently running in 7th. Good stuff from the lone NSX tonight.
And that is a note. Is if you don't have to be the fastest guy out there, you just have to be the one that doesn't get into any incidents, and you can make a lot of positions.
As now Zamora will follow, believe that was Wasinski or Anderson into the pit lanes. It's Anderson. So going to be
Good to see a
interesting
lot of-
as, yeah, we're noticing a trend here, Anton, of a lot of guys trying to opt for the undercut. Will be interesting to see who opts to stay out and for how long.
You're gonna see a lot of shuffling in the next 3 or so minutes, is my guess, in this front pack here.
One thing I am noticing is that those who have had done their pit stops, I am not seeing the clear on the board for it, so it's
Gonna have to wait a minute for lap traffic, or for timing and scoring to filter that through, I believe.
it's way too late because not a single okay, one has shown up green so far. That's it. Everybody else has been. There's some in the back there now. Okay, good. Phew. I was getting really scared. They were not showing.
There is something to be said about the size of this track in terms of pit stops, because you're sacrificing obviously around 30 seconds in the box, and it's a relatively short front straightaway, but you're pretty much giving up an entire lap here.
It is
if you're
close
taking
to
trip
a
to the
full
box.
lap. I believe the pit time is between 1:15 to 1:17 on average. So it's close. It's close to that full lap time. It's close to that 1:20, 29, high 28. So I mean, you gotta also consider if there are any cars that you're going to be fighting on exit from the pits.
Exactly.
It could be pretty treacherous.
So you do that whole kind of mental gymnastics of, you do the undercut for the fresh rubber, but also for the clean air, hopefully, that provides. And if you're blending into a plethora of cars, whether it be, cars that are a lap down or still guys that haven't pitted yet, that's absolutely something you need to think about. Anthony Kangalowski under fire right now. Brian Swift on the inside in that silver Ruby Porsche will back out of it. least I think it's ruby. I'm not entirely sure what that livery is supposed to be.
You know, I found out last week and I forgot.
Oh.
If it comes back to me, I will let you know.
We will have
This is
some.
so sad.
This is very heartbreaking, Steph.
I know. I keep
we
thinking
will have
Spaceballs,
some-
and I actually might be right.
There's no shot.
I think it is Spaceballs. I think it is. I read that somewhere.
It could be.
I think
Alright.
it is. I'm pretty sure.
You
it
know
is.
what? Let's take a look.
Yeah, it says we break for nobody. That's definitely
Yeah.
Spaceballs.
Oh
Yes. Yeah.
I
There we
thought that
go.
was potentially one of the Ruby cars like the NSX.
Mac Morgan diving into the pits.
Are they twins?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Not the only family ordeal. One of them in Sim Racing Alliance. Steph has obviously been a part of that. Now is Rafcab with a big dive on Robichon will sail
Not
right
work.
off. That was not the shot, my friend.
I believe the track is not that way.
Yeah, there's a few siblings in SRA and a few father-son combinations as well. Moreno looks like he did the same move.
As we're watching the replay here from Raf, I just think getting overzealous. Yep, that's a good place to throw it there. Better to be on the outside than the inside so you're not collecting anybody. But carbon copy of what Cabrera did.
By this
Back
point, we're going to see a lot of cars already filtering out of the pits as we approach the 31-minute mark, which is very close to the halfway through the race. But we have way less and less drivers who are still on their first stint of tires, and the second stint will definitely come into play now.
Good opportunity for a switchback, but Ansem parks that R8 on the apex. Maybe a little too dirty there from both Trey and Jensen, but good stuff regardless. Ransom to hold that position. Back to Zamora here. Trying to clear the Porsche of Mike Heisner, who I think just cleared him, actually. He did.
Yellow flag, we see 906 into turn 3.
I think
believe
that's
is
Raf Cabrera.
Yep.
Oh,
Is there an instance of penetration into turn 3 again?
let's look. Put that back and we'll take a look at that.
I don't think this is Raf Cabrera.
No, it is not.
Oh, it isn't?
That is.
Oh,
There it is. Oh,
Looks
just
like
got
a
on the right foot a little bit too much,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it looked like a self-spin. It did not look like he was touched.
Lexus
Minimal damage there.
TC did not work that time.
No.
This is indeed very sad for the OBDA family.
Yes.
Ultra Zio around the outside of Brian Swift. Done deal.
There's that Mustang again.
I think one of the few things that ACC as a game, or video games in general, struggle to simulate, and I talked to some of the real-life drivers from the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship this weekend, it is the electronics in the car, just because the refresh rate on those are so much faster than, say, the refresh rate of a computer. As Zamora gets the bumper there from Foster, somehow stays out of it. Big trouble avoided there. A little bit of a wiggle from Zamora trying to get heat into those Pirelli P0s.
Might have been a frustration wiggle, as he thinks that
Might
Steve
have been
Foster
that.
may have gotten past a little bit without justice, I assume. Is that the right word? I guess, yeah.
Could
maybe.
be.
Ultra Zio with a good run on Buckley. Looks to the inside across the stripe. Does he try to do it into turn number 1? He goes side by side, but will back out of it. Will make a little bit of contact, though. And somehow, that Lexus not only survives, but like a cannon shoots ahead. And now Brian Swift with a good opportunity to swipe back on this Mustang.
I believe Alex hit the little pyramid curb at turn 1, which caused him to not get the best of runs, and then the Lexus was able to just prance away as it normally does on the straights.
Yeah.
Ultra Zio, I think, actually doing the same there. Grabbed the right rear on that little, I like to call it the pyramid curb. As not too much of an issue for the Mustang.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
friendly
certainly
over
Monster
curbs.
Truck, too.
It's definitely very forgiving. There are some cars that I think the Nissan can actually just fully drive over the turn 1 pyramid curb. Yeah, it doesn't care at all.
I know the Boatley and the Aston are especially good at it.
I don't know. I don't think any car can actually take that turn 1 curb but the Nissan. It's just bad. You shouldn't touch it. It's bad. It's very.
It's kind of there so you don't touch it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like if you're right here, you should not be right here. You're gonna get punished by launching off this pyramid.
Iris in chat asking why it's not an average-sized pyramid curb. Look, man, that's just really not in our budget right now. Stephen Buckley holding off Ultra Zio. In the meantime, trying to get back on Taft. These guys have been back and forth all night.
This is familiar territory for Iris in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet. It does seem to be on par.
Seth saying Aston can absolutely not take that curb. When we started that conversation, I thought you meant just the big, like the super thick sausage curbs in general. I thought you didn't mean turn 1. I do think the Bentley might be able to, as a big wiggle there from Taft, who gathers it back up. But once again, side by side here, we've seen the Lexus in this scenario a lot of times tonight. As Buckley tries the over-under now on Taft. Script flips coming through 7 and 8. And if Buckley can hold this momentum, he can try the long way around. Further back, Ultra Zio trying to join this conversation. Door to door, mirror to mirror. And Buckley trying the long way around into turn number 9. Taft has the advantage on the line. Buckley goes very wide in contact between the two.
I think that was going to work so well.
You know, I want to say it's very impressive that Stefan was able to keep it so close to the McLaren there, considering those two cars are quite exactly polar opposites in Sector 2 and Sector 3.
Oh my goodness, there it is! Again, you can't go side by side into turn 1. Ultra Zio and Buckley pay the price.
And behind them, poor Raf is...
The other Lexus,
really
Raf Cab having issues. Oh, man.
This is so sad.
And now Jacob Curtis trying the inside Alexa play Despacito.
Name me a better combo than Mustang turn 3.
Mustang run into Ascari at Monza.
You know,
Mustang run down the Indy straight.
Yeah. I mean,
Mustang run down Paul Ricard back straight. I can do this for like.
There are so many combos. You know, I
Mustang and
that.
long strip of pavement.
Yeah. How about we just say
Then tweet.
Mustang? How about that? I think that's pretty
Mustang.
fair.
Yeah, I was about to say there's a reason why most of the guys in D1 are driving Mustangs.
Yep. And that's exactly why. Sergio Lindo and Cesare Penkovic are the two cars that have not pit yet.
He won't give too much of a fight here to Matt Anderson and the Black Sheep, Aston Martin. As everyone trying to play the long game here. Not too many, actually.
Riley in chat says
yellow.
Mustang and Anton. I don't want to be associated with this Ford anymore.
Get me away from this Colt. Trey Morgan on lap traffic, the other black sheep. Looks to the inside of Mertzen. Will actually get there.
Yeah, he gave him the space. I'm surprised that Mertzen decided to leave the door open for a Ferrari, which has amazing brakes, mind you. And they're still going side by side through the Sector 2 complex. Trey Morgan enters ahead, and he makes the overtake done before the start of Sector 3. Very impressive move.
Whether it's been behind the mic or behind the wheel, the Morgan brothers providing some SRA entertainment on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Caleb Tanay further up, clearing with a big dive on the inside there from one of the BMWs. That is Lino. Trying to get through. Oh my goodness! Little bit of contact between the two. Somehow they both keep it straight. And now Lindo once again trying to get a peek to the inside into turn number 3. And this can't end like this. Oh my goodness. Nearly contact once again here. Mike Heisner now joining this battle.
I can imagine Mr. Tenney is probably a little frustrated considering that Lindo has not pit yet. So technically it's not his race. But it's still for position. You have to remember that.
Absolutely for position. Riley with a great comment there. The slowest collision ever. But one we can still see coming. Minimal penetration. Mac Morgan under fire here from Sweeney, who you absolutely cannot take that line. If you rejoined and took out Mac in that, dude, it would have been like roasted on air immediately.
Perhaps.
Sweeney keeps it in line though, holding off Justin Curtis. So 2 different strats at the sharp end of the field. But in the mid-pack, everybody kind of on the same game plan. Going to be interesting to see where our race leaders are going to blend, though. Again, all of those guys are at this rate kind of going to be, as Anton mentioned, like a lap down after pitting.
There's one thing to point out here, as we have our eyes on Mac Morgan, and we switched to Kristen.
Sorry.
Very good time.
It lands trolled.
Mac has not had the best of race luck coming into D4 this season. I think he started out in D5, won Indianapolis, like a true gangster. And then going into D4 has just been unlucky race after unlucky race. So it's really nice to see him having a decent outing for once.
Brickyard Racing opening last season with a win at the Brickyard. And should I say, going off of the name, that both of them are Hoosiers. If not, apologies to them. As Buckley, again, giving us entertainment. Oh my goodness, penetration again. Kaganowski getting into him as we watch a replay. Oh my goodness, more drama.
That Lexus took off. That was from downtown. Oh my goodness.
That was heavy penetration.
Anton called it before we saw it. He had a different view of it.
That poor Alexis.
Aston had the eyes on the prize as he approached the rear of the Lexus quite dramatically fast. It was, I imagine, for Stefan Buckley, quite terrifying going to the braking zone.
Both of those Lexi have suffered more tonight than anyone else. Than the Williams F1 team last year in the second half. Mike Heisner now looking for a move on Lindo, still to pit, the last one who hasn't pit yet.
It seems that Stefan has had enough and he's just RTG'd after going off in turn 4.
Which is kind of fair, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's not what you want to see, but like, it's very sad to see what happened today.
It's a track that curates courage, shall we say, as Lindo gets nearly into the bumper of Mike Heisner. Again, these guys with a head full of steam. He's on a different strategy from them. Heisner trying the long way around into turn number 7. Lindo still somehow finding life in those Pirellis to even stay in this battle right now, but will go wide as Wazinski will go through. Nearly no. He gets checked up, and now this will give Thompson an opportunity to sail by.
You know, it reminds me that, you know, a while back when we were driving a lot more, I ran tests on Porsche with the tires here for endurance. I found the tires toward the end were better than the beginning. Don't ask me why. Yeah, for this track and that car, it felt so much nicer on the second stint of those tires than the first.
The second stint will tend to be better as the heavier fuel load does greatly
Oh no, like
impact how
a
the tires
second
feel.
full-on stint, like reload the fuel, go out with those tires. This don't change.
Yeah,
that.
I don't know about that.
Don't ask me why. I was like, oh wow, that was actually not nearly as bad as I thought. And once those tires break in, it's in this track, especially for Porsche, it felt a lot better.
Sergio Lindo goes off track, and you have to start to think about pitting at this point. You're just losing a lot of time battling these cars. We're on alternate pit strategies, especially how.
Oh my goodness! Here comes Thompson from the top rope. Doesn't get that position done. That was insanely ambitious going into turn number 5, and somehow, some way, nobody involved. Wazinski will take that position right back.
What's that word we used earlier? Optimism?
Yeah.
Optimism,
That was
for
a
sure.
lot of optimism.
Steven Music merging now with his teammate once again as the two Steves reunited in 11th and 12th. We saw some OBDA team orders on the sharp end of the field. Are we going to see the same from the Steves here? I say team orders. It was more of just talking and being like, hey, don't kill each other.
That was exactly what happened. I told Omar, hey, would it be funny if I battled you? He's like, yeah. For sure. I mean, it's fun. Racing is fun. That's what we're here to do. So if they want to do it, go for it. Just, that's the ultimate thing that you don't want to do, is drive into your teammate.
They're using the power of friendship right now to try and clear Sergio, and they've made it you can call it a Sergio on Steve sandwich right now, as the BMW is in the middle. He's going to try and swing back here going into T4. Very optimistic, and will set this up potentially for an over-under for Foster. Here he comes, heading down the hill.
I wonder if Sergio knows that he hasn't hit yet.
Some people in chat have pointed that out.
Yeah, I'm seeing Donovan, Dan Cran, a lot of familiar faces.
Dan Cran's full name obviously being Daniel Craniel.
For sure. That's his business name right there.
Exactly, exactly. Oh, we might see it finally. White towel from Sergio Lindo at long last, and we'll bring that TC8 into the pits. Mertson was looking dicey against Trey Morgan, is backed out of it.
I think Lindo must have heard us talking about how he has to pit, so he just dove in.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to see where Sergio blends back out as a result.
I imagine not in the same spot where he was 10 laps ago.
Probably.
Oh.
How's our race leader doing, Stephanie?
He's doing fantastic. He has a lot of time over P2.
That best race lap of a 28.7.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
Yeah.
This guy's flying. I mean, 2 more races in D4 with this guy. It's like,
at very worst, get ready to learn D2, buddy.
for sure. I mean, that's kind of the path that I took. I went from D4 to D2. I got moved in one race to D1 and kind of just never looked back. But I'm imagining a similar treatment to Mason if he continues this improvement.
Moffitt, Barber, Daniels, Anderson, and Tenney, your top 5. Then it's Heisner, Wazinski, Thompson, Zamora, and Music. The top 5 has kind of diluted, but still plenty of close battles from 5th back. And that doubles when you look in the battle for silver right now and the battle for the top 10. Battle for the silver podium very much alive right now between Trey Morgan and Robichon. Heisner still the one to beat right now. He's got 3 cars between him and class second right now, Steven Music.
Looking at the standings, having Mick Wieserson DNF this race is going to throw a huge spanner into the works.
Didn't even talk about that, yes.
Yeah, Mason is probably going to be leading with a commanding 112 points scored from this race with 12 minutes to go.
Hopefully we can go back to the replay and actually see what happened there to Mick Wieserson, as we unfortunately didn't get to fully see what happened there.
Yeah, we
But
did
in a race that was
completely miss
so good. Big flash of headlights here from Kaganolsi as he chucks it up the inside of Mag Morgan. That was, well, everybody say it now, over-optimistic going into T5.
Word of the night.
Word of the night, other than penetration.
penetration.
Penetration and optimism. That's the combo and a half.
If Cube Masters Racing, penetration's always the word of the night. Optimism is our word of the night.
I think we also have lost Sloppy Uwu, unless they're totally back there, but I do not see them.
He heard you talking smack about his name and was like, I'm out.
This is a kid's show. Well, not a kid. This is a family business, okay?
Okay. If you say so.
The single K from stuff. Mertzen trying to get to work again on Trey Morgan here. As Ultra Zio, I mean, we're saying a lot of repetitive names here. Riley Quirinjet, name a better combination than optimistic and penetration.
Optimistic penetration.
Exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth.
I was already typing them away. I didn't know if we were going to catch the chat, so I figured I'd throw it out there.
I was also on it. I was about to say something about it.
I like D4.
Yeah, this has been
staying
fun.
here.
I'm enjoying.
Screw you guys. I'm staying around.
Yeah, my old home.
Yep. Yeah,
The OG for Anton.
We did. Well, I think both of us have been here, not at the same time, but it's a lot of
All right,
guys
I'm not
in
reading
here
chat for the next 10 minutes.
that I enjoyed racing with for many seasons, so I do enjoy this. Kyle's still rocking P2. Yes, he is. There he is, having a good old time out in his own little island.
And then you have Mason.
Yeah, Mason.
30 whole seconds separating the podium right now.
And Sean Daniels. Mertzen is peeking up the back of Trey, so we'll see if something happens.
Hopefully something good and entertaining. Just not a crash.
Yeah.
And I thought I spoke too soon. That was really close for comfort.
That was. As that actually allows Altarisio to slide on by.
We've seen a lot of Altarizio and making moves here in this race. He's been a big mover, I suppose.
He may have been.
Ultrazio almost in the sand there. This will be a good run for Mertzen. Again, we're seeing a lot of good runs coming into 9 and 10. It's just such a difficult place to get a move done.
Ooh. Guys.
Justin Secondby, who was involved in that opening roadblock. I think it was both of these guys, actually. As once again,
Whoa.
from way back from another zip code, somehow both of these guys don't lose it. But I think it was Johnston and Secondby who were involved earlier. It was certainly one of the Purple Cobra McLarens
Ah!
in that opening. And
Oh.
more contact.
No, that was
You guys know what I'm
penetration.
thinking about, right?
What?
Optimistic
I do.
penetration.
Penetration. Yes.
I was going to say I knew it, which is why we didn't have to say it.
But we like to say it.
Just like how you love saying sloppy ooh, Jackson.
8 minutes to go here at Red Bull Ring.
The silence.
Watching. I'm not even going to try that name, dude. Chat,
I
you
can
can
try
let
it.
me know. Cesare Penkowitz?
Cesare Penkovic, I believe.
Penkovic, yes.
Thank you.
Sarver up ahead there in the lime green NSX, still trying to figure out what that is supposed to be inspired by. I think it's tire marks.
I think it's a lime green BMW. At
Thanks,
least.
Steph.
You're welcome.
The difference in the difference in how we carry ourselves D1 versus D4 for even streaming is so insane, and I'm so here for it.
I believe that this, by the way, is the framework. Like when you're making a livery, that's the wireframe.
Oh, I think it might be.
Yeah,
The more I'm looking at it, the more I think you're right.
I'm really confident that
I think
I'm
it
right.
is the mesh.
Which is a really cool take on it.
The Trey, Alex, and Mert show continue here going on into turn number 3. Altrazio now finds himself in the middle of this 3-car pack. And Trey doing a brilliant job thus far of holding all of these guys up. Further up the road, the two Steves, Music and Foster, have done a little bit of teamwork. It's the silver driver ahead. He's holding off Robichon for the time being. We'll see if that BMW can break into those two with 6 minutes remaining. And again, with a lot of these guys running the undercut, might see some guys struggle for grip, see some Pirellis begging for mercy.
Iris just messaged me saying that you guys are like toddlers in the best way possible.
We'll take it.
I'm glad she is.
I like that
entertained.
description.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'll take it.
Welcome to Coco Melon for Sim Racers.
Division 4 commentary booth.
Altrazio now to the
look at
inside.
that.
Trey loses it big time on the brakes.
Yeah, at this point, this is when, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures, and Altrazio gets past. Trey Morgan seems to have missed the braking zone a little bit, and, you know, mistakes will bite you in the butt.
For instance, Siraf Cabrera, who goes a little bit wide here as Rodrigo Moreno tries to get into conversation with him. And now Trey Morgan trying to take P12, or P13, excuse me, back from Altrazio.
801 spun around at the entry of turn 4. Mason just goes by.
That is
We still have
unfortunately
another
Cube
Wait.
Master. Our thoughts and prayers with Cube.
No!
What happened? He's all by himself. Cube.
That when you ask me what the Ford Mustang experience is, Anton, that's it right there.
I mean, yeah, but no. The TC works in that car. It was. I
It
imagine.
does.
I imagine he dipped maybe like an inch of his tire into the gravel, and that definitely will happen.
Right.
I
You
guess
know-
that is a reverse penetration right there.
In all
You
due
can't say
respect-
that when there's a single car, Anton. Okay, Rodrigo Moreno with a good run on Raf Cab.
There's something
but
I
it's
thought of, but I
We're
just don't
really,
want to go
we're
there.
really going for it here.
It's a reverse penetration in a sense that You know what? I'm not even gonna finish what I'm gonna say. It's
Yeah.
probably not okay.
It's,
You know what?
yeah.
Good.
It doesn't go anywhere good. It's not. But I will say
You know,
that what happened is my personal experience in the Mustang. That is how it goes for me every time I try that car.
Donovan actually made a fair point saying that you probably forgot to turn TC back up into turn 3. You do have to run really low.
Are you
TC to
actively
make it work.
switching TC in this car corner by corner?
No, I probably switched it like 200 times this race.
Are you kidding me?
No, I got buttons for that, man.
Yep.
Wow.
We're all good.
I'm not. Huh.
That's how the fast
Is
boys
that a
do
normal thing you guys will? Wow. Again, you learn something new every day. And I guess the dials are there for a reason, but I feel like it's a little bit more of a set it and forget it thing. But do you do the same thing with ABS?
In some corners, yes. I think the ABS I was actually changing pretty actively, more at Coda than anything, because turn 10 hairpin is pretty hard to get right.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's like the only corner in which I changed the ABS. But ABS usually stays the same.
Big wiggle from Mac, and Anthony actually does the same here. Who am I to judge? Because the F1 guys, I've seen qualifying onboards. Those guys will actively, switch brake bias corner by corner. So
Yeah, they have a lot more to consider than just brake bias. They also have brake migration. They got
brake migration,
differential
things like
settings. I mean, like that is an extreme level.
The terrible, horrible, no good, very bad race unfortunately continues for the CNC crew. Rod, did you kill this man? What did you
Please
do
no.
to Raf Cabrera?
Oh,
The Lexi have suffered enough.
If this is into turn 1, Rab,
it is.
I'm going to be very disappointed. Oh my goodness.
No!
No.
This is-
Rodrigo, you go to your room right this instant.
Is that Cube Master?
Yeah, it
That
was.
is
That is timing at its best.
me when I mentioned GOAT. Something I haven't really mentioned, the Ferrari does have a little bit of active brake migration, I believe.
I
There's some
can't
kind
confirm
of
nor deny
active
this, I have
or
no idea.
change brake bias, I believe. I think that was one of the big advantages to the 296, especially in the wet, where the bias changes on the fly, like in a braking zone, and I believe that's what you're talking about when we mean migration. Back to Sergio Lindo. First time we've seen him since the break, all over the rear bumper of the master of the cubes. Looks to the inside into 9.
Oh my, that was very close.
Oh, dude.
Very close.
Big Code Brown here as we will see the white flag. Another bit of contact between these two.
I think I just saw a yellow flag at turn 3
Oh,
with
is that a
423 and
bump
somebody
draft?
else.
Another look to
Up
the inside in
inside.
turn 1. Both of them will sail through, and Senkenby will be like, oh, hell yeah, 2 free positions. Okay,
Through goes Justin!
we'll take it.
On the last lap of the race as well.
Yep.
Mertzen side by side with Trey Morgan. These guys continue to go at it. Ultra Zio sailing into open track up ahead, side by side at the line. Trey not giving up just yet. Mertzen trying to get as wide of an entry as possible. They still hold on through T1. A little bit of a nudge from Trey, but these two have been respectful all night long. Further behind, Swift and Anson going at it. Trey has the momentum. He puts it to the inside. Into turn number 4. Mert still holding on to the outside, but it'll go back to Trey. Good stuff between these guys.
And all in the middle of this chaos, Mason Moffitt, our race leader and now winner, takes the flag, as I believe he would enter the championship lead after this race.
Absolutely great stuff from Mason. Started at the front and ended there. Around goes Mertzen. It was contact from Ansem that caused that Aston Martin to go around. Morgan will go through as well. Sweeney and Taft will go through. And a battle between these three that was going so good all night long, unfortunately, will end with Mertzen in the wall.
That was so sad.
That was
Yeah,
very sad.
what an ending to this race.
So I remember when we were calling Coda, 50 cars at Coda in D1, and I felt like I could not breathe because there was always something going on track.
Well, it's Kodak.
This has been
Yeah.
a very similar type of racing. Mertzen will bring it home in 19th, but definitely plenty of penalty points to give out. Spare a thought for your stewards who have a lot of work, a lot of film to go through tonight.
Oh, for sure they do.
That's me.
There might be a longer driver's briefing next week. So
podium coming up. I really don't know if they're going to have a lot to tell us, guys.
we'll get there when we get there. First, we'll start with P3, who, by the way, is Cube's teammate. So we're gonna see if he was in chat with him, which I'm pretty sure he is. Let's move up our buddy Sean.
Hello there.
Hey, Sean.
Hello.
Welcome to the booth.
Beautiful.
Oh, this is not where I planned to be tonight.
Well, it's where you are, so are you happy about that?
I am happy with that finish. I have to thank Anton though.
You're welcome. I got you, buddy. Forever and always. Forever and always. We stick together.
I do not like changing setups day of the race, but that paid off that time. This was all the Moffitt show, though. There was no catching him or Barber. I couldn't hold a candle.
I know it kind of felt like you guys in the top three had a relatively quiet race, but how much defense there from the remainder of the field holding off P4, P5 from your end, Sean?
It was a little sketchy toward the end. I came up on some blue flags there. I was getting the updates from the crew chief telling me that Anderson was catching me, which is an exact role reversal from last week because I was the one trying to catch him.
Right.
I kept getting the updates, and I knew he was getting closer. Then I caught the blue flags on like the last lap, and I went from like a 5-second gap to a 2-second gap real quick. Thankfully, I was able to hold on to it though.
So
I'll give you some. No, go on, Steph.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm dying to know if you were in voice with Cube through this race.
I was, yes.
And how was that?
My ears
I think
hurt.
that tells us enough.
Yeah, my ears hurt a little bit. He
The
gets
Kurt Busch experience.
he got a little excited tonight. He got held up a little bit in quali, and he was a little upset about that.
Believe we saw that. Another thing to kind of think about here, Sean. Michael McWeezerson, a major incident on turn in lap one, I should say. Obviously Mason, who's right behind you in standings, kind of gaining some advantage on you, but both of you guys are essentially now fighting for the lead here with a handful of races to go. So talk to me about your thoughts on the kind of run here to the finale as we head to Barcelona.
I'm excited for Barcelona because it's really a coin flip as to what conditions we're going to get. And I enjoyed racing in the rain, so hopefully that'll be an advantage. I don't know. I don't know how much Moffitt likes the rain. We'll just have to wait and see if we even get rain. What happened to McWeezerson?
We have no idea.
I saw him spin, and I narrowly avoided him. I really thought I was going to hit him.
Obviously some contact, but we genuinely do not know. We're going to see if Kyle has an answer for us here in just a moment, but still some great driving from you, Sean. Best of luck for you in the next couple of weeks, but any shout out here before we let you go?
Well, definitely to Anton for that setup, and just my teammate really for being there and supporting me. He helped me a lot today, find some time too. So Thanks to Cube.
Awesome.
Great drive as always. Sean, we will see you next week.
Thanks.
Sean Daniels, P3 finisher, as we try to find
Kyle.
our friend Kyle Barber.
Right. I'm going to have to do this one.
Oh, I accidentally moved the YouTube bot. Hang on. I got it.
No, I got him.
There he
He's
is.
here. Kyle.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
You're
what's
here.
up? I just didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to interfere. What's up?
Welcome to the booth. Congratulations on a P2 finish.
I appreciate it. Still upset. I've had 3 P2s, no P1s. What the hell? I'm ready for my P1. What? Moffat, move out of the way. Make a mistake. Gosh damn it. No. It was fun.
First of all, still great driving regardless, Kyle. Let's start with this. We're still in the murder mystery right now of what happened to Michael McWeezerson. Were you able to see what happened there on lap 1?
Yes. So we were actually talking about it in the race chat just before this. So I saw it dead in front of me. McWeezerson had some space because I was battling between Daniels and some other people in the back. P3, 4, something like that. McWeezerson in second just started in a random slide. Tires probably weren't up to temp. And as he slid parallel pretty much with the track. And I ended up going to the right and barely avoiding him. And then Daniels went to the left and we kind of kept going. But as I just saw on the replay as they were going through it, a lot of people ping-ponged off of McWeezerson, and his car, I'm sure, was completely trashed. So that definitely took him out. Definitely scary moment for me and Daniels as well, coming around that corner.
Oh, I'd imagine.
But yeah, crazy moment.
Wow.
So you clear Daniels and you go through this kind of hectic opening pair of laps, and then a relatively drama-free race for you, kind of on an island between McWeezerson and Sean just talked to me about your race from the cockpit.
Yeah, pretty much just, the first couple laps, passing, getting into third, and then eventually passing McWeezerson. I ended up getting passed by Daniels again due to that crash. I did not want to hit him. I was fine with losing a position or two and not getting any damage. So ended up losing that position and had to battle back to get it. Once I got in P2, it was just smooth sailing from there. I knew I wasn't going to catch Moffat. I tried, but I knew I wasn't. We've had a lot of practice races, and he just has so much pace with that D1 skill sometimes, especially on this track, it feels. But, good racing from everybody, especially Moffat, obviously. And, pretty quiet race, exactly, like you said.
The loss for Michael on lap 1 is absolutely all three of your guys' gain, Sean Mason and yourself. Your thoughts on where you're at in the championship here heading into Barca with 2 races to go?
Yeah, just going to try to put in a little bit of effort. Got a side endurance race to do at Imola, so I'm going to do that. That's going to prepare me for the race coming up, final race of this season, so kind of a twofer. Barcelona, never really raced there a whole lot, so we're going to do it. I've hit the track on other games, but not this specific game, so need to put some seat time in, try to get up there. The big thing I want in this whole entire thing is to get on the podium for D4 gold, so that's my goal here. And with McWeezerson going out, unfortunately, not that I wished it on him, but take the advantage where you can. That's going to put me a lot higher up. So just going to try to keep it clean these last 2 races and get out of here with a podium finish.
Thanks so much, Kyle. Any shout outs here before we let you loose?
Just all the SCR guys, Anthony, Adam, Seth, all them, and we got a new Adam as well, so 2 Adams. But yeah, a lot of fun racing with these guys and talking with them, having a lot of laughs. So big shout out to them, and big shout out to the SRA guys putting all this stuff on. Appreciate all your hard work.
Great stuff as always, Kyle. We'll see you next week.
All right, see you in the booth.
Kyle Barber, another second place finish here in D4. And I believe we do have our race winner here somewhere.
Who's our silver winner again? I took the thing and I lost it.
Great question.
Gotta get our silver winner up here too. I can get it.
I think it was Matt. might be wrong though. No, it was Mike Heisner.
It was Heisner. It was Heisner.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have Heister? Is he in here?
I don't believe I see him.
You know. Should have checked earlier so I could message him. Anyway, we'll grab Moffat. There he is. And we'll bring him up here.
You sounded very reluctant to do that.
No,
Fine, we'll grab him.
Hello? Mason.
Hello.
Hello.
No.
We love having Mason here.
We
Especially
Yes.
me. He's on my fantasy team. I'm loving life right now.
How did Ark do? I didn't see.
Oh, he got P2. But we're talking about you now. This is
Yeah.
your
Okay.
victory.
Okay.
So, how was your drive?
Well, I was very far ahead, so I was just hot lapping over and over again. But yeah, I had a very scary moment on lap 16 where I slid through the whole second to last corner. It was very scary.
Style points, I imagine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had a pretty commanding lead there the entire race. I mean, with the lap one, I guess, hecticness that happened with Nick Weezerson behind, and then Kyle, you, and Sean kind of just, ran your own race and crossed the line when you needed to. Talk us through everything.
Yeah, well, I was going through this second sector and I saw Weezerson in front of me, behind me, coming into it, and then I look behind me after it, and then he's just gone out of the timing board and everything, and I was so confused on where he did. I thought he like DC'd or something, but well, I got my answer in the replay, but that was very surprising to me because I thought he was going to be my main competitor during the race. And then what else to say? Not much, but I was just lapping at my pace. I was I didn't feel the need to push too much, so I was just lapping at my own pace, trying to stay away from Kyle, but at the same time be safe. And yeah, that's how my race went.
Saying lapping at your own pace while doing a purple lap of 28.765 in D4, that's definitely not just leisurely driving. That would probably put you pretty well into D1 territory. So, I mean, you will be probably the guy to catch, especially going to the last two races, I believe, with Nick Weezerson falling out of this race and DNFing. You would probably be leading the championship.
Yeah, I think it's going to be between me, Sean Daniels, and Kyle Barber now. So that'd be interesting to see who comes out on top at the end.
McWeezerson still has a drop race in hand, so I think it's a pretty strong one as well, of 76 points. So I think that will probably propel him a little bit forward, but not as much as he would have done maybe with the P2 or P3 finish today. But I think it's definitely a spinner in the works. It's going to be interesting to see how everything transpires in the last two races.
The McLaren should be good at Barcelona because of the fast corners, but I'm excited to see how it's going to be with the variable weather and people practicing for different weather types and the rain and the sun and how it's going to be on race day.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, how do you feel about this variable race coming up? Do you feel confident? Do you feel maybe perhaps nervous a little bit?
Well, I'm nervous a little bit because of the mixed conditions. Do you know if it will be able to change during the race? So like it will start out wet and go to dry, or if it will stay the same throughout the whole race?
Mixed conditions entails mixed weather, so stay tuned for next Wednesday, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough with the strategy, having the wet and the dry at the same time, possibly. So yeah.
Hoping for as much variability as possible, for at least for us in the commentary booth. I imagine it's going to be a little bit more stressful for you drivers, but it's going to be fun. I think it's definitely something new, something to look forward to. And yeah, I mean, shout out to Mason for just dominating today's race. Do you have anything else to say for us?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my parents and, of course, my dad for letting me use the sim, of course. And I like to thank SRA and the community that they have here, providing weekly races and lots of different series. And finally, no, that's it.
All right. Stephanie, any questions?
No, I think you covered it really well.
Awesome. That's rookie commentating stuff, you know. It's good, fun. I like this.
Good. Like, congratulations on that win again. That Mason was a great hot lapping.
Very commanding hot lapping session.
Yeah.
I had 2 track, you could say track cuts, 1 track like warning on lap 2 where I went over turn 1, and then 1 when I was trying to pass a lapped car and I just outbraked myself into turn 3. Yeah.
I believe Cube Master calls them speed tokens, so let's just keep it that way.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. I'll let you get back down to your division mates, and again, congratulations. Hope you have a great night. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
And that,
All right,
folks, concludes our night of racing. Let's see, as we mentioned, next week we will be at Barcelona in lovely Spain with some lovely, hopefully, variable weather to make life really interesting. Are you looking forward to that next week?
Absolutely not.
No?
I have no
not?
experience at Barcelona, especially like in the rain. This is going to be absolutely horrible for me. But you know what? I love racing. So does like probably 100% of SRA. So at least I hope. But it's definitely gonna be interesting. But yeah, last 2 rounds, Imola is also a great racetrack. Not variable conditions there, but it's definitely going to set up for, at least in D4, a very interesting finale as we head into a very close championship fight at the top of D4. I suppose if you can pull up the standings, we could take a look how everything is going to.
Don't think they'll be updated, but we can look at them real quick.
We can assume. So with Mick Weezerson DNFing today with a drop race of 76 points, that'll put him at 481. Mason Moffitt scoring a very commanding 112 points. That's actually going to put him ahead of Mick Weezerson by not very much. It's going to be roughly by 6 points. Sean Daniels with the P3 finish, Kyle Barter with the P2. Everything is starting to heat up here in Division 4, so it's going to be an interesting finish. A very interesting finish.
It will be. So definitely join us again next week here. And you can also join us on Tuesday night where we get to watch Anton race, and you get to listen to myself and Jackson and Selena comment on Anton racing, along with all of his other Division 1 buddies. And then also, if you want even more SRA, we do post every race on YouTube under the Sim Racing Alliance channel. So you can go back and watch all 6 divisions again if you want. They're there.
They are there. And, you know, I myself sometimes rewatch them just to see what the commentating booth is talking about. And if it's more of what we were doing today, why not rewatch them? It's all fun and games and a lot of just entertaining stuff. So definitely check it out.
We try.
We try.
We try.
Optimism.
Yes. Optimism. And with that, folks, thank you for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Good night.
Thank you so much for having me, Stephanie, and the rest of SRA commentating team. Cheers, guys.